Welcome to Causing the Effect, a podcast focused on the exploration of your mind, body, and spirit.
All right, Frankie Dades, the hybrid athlete. I feel uncomfortable today because this dude looks better than me, and I'm usually the better looking guy. So I welcome Frankie. What's going on, my man?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. Now, me and Frankie, born and raised in New York, Frank's a Staten Island guy. This is gonna be more fitness focused today for my people who are. I've been waiting to talk to somebody about fitness, so I've been excited. Now, Frank, I want to first talk about this confidence piece because I think Frank and I agree, and we kind of went through that same path of the acquired confidence. How has that changed who you are as a person, and how did you get to that point? Like, what was it? Was it fitness? Was it going through something? What did that process look like? I'm coming out with just a deep question just to get to your soul, Frank.
Damn,
that's it.
Right
We're
away.
going for it.
All right. So let's take it back. I guess it started maybe like when when I was younger, my parents got divorced when I was like 13, and it kind of shook the grounds for me. And I guess I lost confidence. I'm attaching it somewhat to that. Maybe I gained some weight. I was kind of just binge eating a lot. I was always active, always worked out, always played sports. I boxed my entire life, basketball, football, everything. Even started lifting weights. But my problem was just going home and eating. And because I was very active still, I wasn't like obese, but you definitely, if you look at pictures of me, you see like I was gaining weight. So I grew up with a very close-knit group of friends, and we were always very active, and they were, maybe naturally skinnier kids or whatever. And they had abs when we were 16. And I just kind of thought, maybe it's not for, maybe I don't have those genetics to have that kind of body. And that's what I settled with. I was like, all right, this is the best I could do. I'm not going to be like them. I'm not going to ever be in shape. I'm never going to want to take my shirt off at the beach and I kind of got used to that. And like when we were younger, like 16, I was getting used to the fact that no girl's going to look at me. They would go obviously for one of my friends who were in better shape, and just, years of that kind of beat me down, and I just, settled with it. And then I started taking fitness a little bit more serious because I started working out when I was like 13. We don't know anything. My first day in the gym, I was actually my first month in the gym. I think all I did was chest, bench press and curls, because that's all I knew. I had no legs, nothing. So as the years went on, more research, asking questions, learning from people, I started to incorporate different things, and I started seeing a little bit more progress, and lost some of that weight, and still had like, a little bit of that extra weight on that I didn't like, but I was making progress. So my confidence went from nothing to now I'm starting to, get a little fit. People are starting to pay attention to me. So now when I'm getting into my early 20s, I'm starting to get that attention more. So now I took that no confidence and got some confidence, but I channeled it into the wrong energy. So that translated into, I started going out to the bars and, partying a lot, surrounding myself with people that didn't really necessarily like me for me. I was a good time, so they wanted me there. And that lasted like a few years, and not even a few years, a couple of years. And I kind of just always had that feeling of like, this isn't it. I don't want to do this. This isn't fun. Wasting money, wasting time, surrounded by people who I really couldn't count on. And one day just decided to go all in on myself and took it 100% serious. And, I stopped going out, slowly started to stop going out because, at first it was like, I was worried about what people thought of me, what they were going to say. And then that translated into, starting to share my journey on Instagram. And that was another thing where I caught a bunch of pushback because, you're from Staten Island. So, it's very small, and anything you do outside of what they consider the norm is looked down upon. So if I'm not going out to the bars every weekend and then I'm not posting on Monday my picture of my bottle service or a picture at the bar, it's weird. So I was posting fitness stuff. So I was getting a ton of people, especially people that I used
What
to
is
hang
Frankie doing? What is this kid doing? What is he thinking? What is he
What are
thinking?
you
He's David
doing?
Goggins?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's like exactly it. And they're like, oh, stop posting so much fitness stuff. Stop posting. And they're telling me how I should post. And I'm like, listen, I don't, at first it was like it would bother me. And I would question as I'm about to post something, like, what are they going to comment on it? Am I going to get messaged? And like sometimes I wouldn't do it. And I was like living my life to please other people. And it just, I got sick of it. So then I just started doing it, and slowly but surely I stopped caring or answering anybody who had anything negative to say. And it brought to me the right people, because now I started connecting with more like-minded people. So, you know, as this time went on, my confidence just started to build and build and build. And I was channeling it in the right spots. And because I was starting to really take my fitness and health serious, I started to get small wins and small wins and small wins. And each time you get a small win, it builds confidence. And then you take that confidence and attack the next win. So overall, I started with none, got some, used it in the wrong places, and then completely switched it around. So that's how it's changed me as a person.
Man, I love that. That is like mirroring my life. Everybody knows my story. I was telling Frank earlier, we lost, I guess, you know, we each kind of didn't have that pure childhood thing. And I think you just lose something as a guy. Were you around your father a lot as a kid?
Yes,
or?
that was like boxing. He was my trainer in boxing.
Oh shit.
So,
okay, good.
yeah. So that was like when my parents got divorced, that was my way of, I kept an equal relationship with both my parents. Whereas most people usually pick mother or father and kind of get closer to them, don't see the other one. I was close with my mom, and then my way of bonding with my father was going to the gym every day.
Beautiful.
Great. Yeah, it was nice.
Especially in Staten Island. I would just think, you know, everybody just goes to the woman's side of it. But dude, that's amazing. Now this shedding, because it sounds like you really started, we got that, you're going to get when you start lifting more, you get a little abs, all that stuff happens. Then it sounds like you had a mindset shift of like stopping caring about what others think about you. How was that journey for you? And is that something you still deal with? I'll be honest, Frank, that still fucks with me doing this. You know, the same thing we said about you people. What does this kid think? He's fucking, you know, Alan Watts, or he's trying to be a spiritual guru? No, we're just trying to help people. Like, how does that process look for you? And does that even go through your mind nowadays?
It really doesn't actually at all anymore. It did, like I was just explaining, that was like probably that held me back longer than I should have let it, and I maybe could have done more. But whatever, I can't look at it like that. It bothered me a lot, and there were kids that I was friends with or thought they were my friends that like were literally like messaging me and like telling me, make a fitness Instagram, stop posting, and I'm like, why would I do that? This is my life. Instagram is to post what I want. So now I'm going to make a separate Instagram to make a separate life for my, like, and pretend to live a different life to please you. And like, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, why, like, this person, they don't really mean any, you know, it's not my childhood best friend or a family member. If it was anyone who was close to me, supported it, which I started to think. I was like, all right, the ones that really matter to me are supportive of it. Then why do I care about someone who literally has no effect on my life, whether they're in it or not? Why am I going to let them hold me back? And like I said, when I started to not care more, or I would still care, but I kind of would just push through it, like just kind of, you know, try to ignore it. It started to bring me around more like-minded people. So now I only surround myself with people who have the same goals, same mindset, and do the same things as me. So it's not like I'm this fitness freak and I'm going out and hanging out with people who are going to the bars every weekend and partying. I don't do that anymore. So I'm not going to surround myself with it because it's not what interests me. If you want to do that, that's fine. I have nothing against it. But I surround myself with people who are the same as me. And that I lost a bunch of friends, but gained a bunch. And they're people that I'm very thankful for, that push me to be a better version of myself all the time. Because I see them getting after it and bettering themselves. And I'm like, it amps me up, and we kind of feed off each other's energy. So at this point, I don't even think about it anymore. A lot of people, believe it or not, who did like make comments at first have reached out now that like, oh, I see what you're doing. Like, I see now what you were doing. Like, I apologize, or you're killing it, keep killing it. And it's even brought people who I grew up around, like maybe I went to high school with them, but didn't really speak to them much. They've messaged me, and like they say like, oh, I've somehow inspired them, and like, or they love what I'm doing, or they're following one of my workout programs. And that's a great feeling too, because it's actually brought me close to people that I never really spoke to before growing up. So it's done a lot more positive than it has done negative.
So much, yes, a lot of good stuff there. And with it's funny, people don't really believe in it until it kind of works. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've kind of just accepted that you're not going to have the friends behind. Everybody's not going to be rah for you, a little bit outside the box thinking until, you see the results or this or that. Now, like everybody's trying, all the boys now try to get on the podcast. Oh, we coming on. It's the same thing. Frankie got 200K followers. I got 200,000 listeners. It's like, come on, dog. We're just chilling. But that for me, and I would say, I went through a divorce when I was 20, when I was around your age. So I'm kind of still coming back to this game. And it's like that energy that you have surrounding yourself is such like an important thing, because you may still want the people to go out with you, but like if you surround yourself with people that are acting like they're 22, that's going to become like you're kind of the way that you're processing things and the way like you're living life. And like, even just saying that to like, not get into a fight with somebody and saying, I'm not talking to you. Just, I don't fuck around like that no more. We can still, if you say hi, we say hi, like keeping that energy. Cause I feel like where we come from, everybody's either talking about drama or more drama. That's it. And when you start talking about, when you start talking about people about, like, let's talk fitness, we're going to get there. Like when you start talking about fitness or the things you're passionate about, like just me leaving this place, like leaving the tri-state area, getting a chance to talk about philosophy, spirituality. I was like, oh shit. Like not everybody's talking about like what Diane down the block is doing with her kid and who's going to college. Like it's just unbelievable.
Dude, you're hitting the nail on the head, because like I've recently said that. I've been saying that. So a lot of friends that I've connected with are people who live in different states, wherever they live, and I've met them in person, like we've all linked up, like through the supplement company, BPM, whatever. And the conversations, they're not shallow. It's not like, oh, like where are we going this weekend? Or like, oh, this one was with this one and this one broke up. The conversations are like deep, and like we're talking about what we want, where we want to end up in life. We're not talking about what are we doing this weekend. We're talking about where are we going to be in 5 years? How can we better ourselves to be there in 5 years? And like, I like that. I like having real conversation. I don't like just shallow, small talk. I don't want to do that. So it's true. It's like, once you leave that little bubble where we're from, it's like, there's a whole world out there. And a lot of people never really experience that. They, at least people that I know of, they kind of just settle and they work their whatever job they have and look forward to the weekend, go to the bar with the same people that they've been partying with since high school, and never really see anything more than that. And they only go where the people that they're from go. So you don't ever interact with people outside of your little bubble, and you don't know that there's different way of life everywhere else. So when I finally like realized that, and I connected with people from all over, I'm like, this is sick. So I don't have, like you said, I don't have to talk about what so-and-so is doing down the block. I can.
It's crazy. It's like you go from talking about the drama, or listen, we all love women, but there's a certain way that I feel like something with the New York way we view women. It's not good. Like it's the way I was raised up, old school Italian. It's not good. And just like getting the chance to like just be a normal person. And there's something about the value structure, I feel like here, like the way that we are conditioned. You mentioned the bottle service. Frank, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still love my bottle service. Once every
There's
month.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Just once a month. Just I have my card.
On it.
Just once a card. Yeah.
I'm not nothing wrong with that at all.
But there's something about the way, like I felt like, I don't know when you probably woke up a little bit earlier than me. Like when I was 20, 27, 28, I woke up, I'm like, what values am I living by? I'm trying to, listen, it's always good to make money, but I was obsessed about money. I was obsessed about having this image. I wanted to be married to a beautiful girl in Brooklyn with a house, blah, 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 blah. And even before that was the party. And you start realizing, like, am I living by my values, or am I living by the values instilled by my mother or by society? And like, you know what I'm talking about? Did
Yeah.
you go through this process?
Yeah, that was what kind of woke me up, is I just was like, what, all right, what am I doing? I was like, because like I would find myself not really, I wasn't enjoying it anymore. It was fun at first. Like I had some fun memories, but like after a while, it's just like the same thing. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is a waste of money, waste of time. I'm not really doing, like, I feel like I'm just on a merry-go-round, because it's just, there's nothing to look forward to. It's just the same thing all the time, same people, same places. And I just knew I wanted different. And I was like, and I knew deep down that, like, this isn't for me, and I don't want to be doing this when I'm 30 years old. And I want to, I had like a feeling deep down that, like, I could do something more, like, for myself. But if I continue to take this path, it's going to hold me back. So that's kind of why I decided to change it up.
No, dude, you're totally right. There's something about that, the pleasures, right? You're trying to, like, drink water with a fork. It's just, there's no ending to it. And when you start, I think for you it's fitness, for me it's the podcast, whatever that may be for you guys listening. Like, this shit never gets old. I'm so jacked up right now because it's like two dudes being real, and then I'm gonna get a lot out of it. It's more selfishness for me, Frank. They get to help people. Everybody's gonna listen to this. They get to help people. It's fucking. Yeah. It's just unbelievable. Now, it sounds like you found that in fitness. When did you start being, like, obsessed with fitness, and what was it? Because I know I don't know what you do. You're running, you're CrossFitting, you're lifting. Like, was it one particular thing?
Like I said, even though I wasn't in, like, the best shape, I've always been active. I always loved working out. My first gym membership with like weights was when I was 13, but when I was playing sports since before that, boxing. So I've always loved it. I was just I lacked confidence. I didn't appreciate the challenges that fitness would give me. So I would quit a lot of things and not finish them, or kind of just go through the motions. So now I would say what really got me started, like, seriously, I was doing CrossFit. So that was about 3-4 years ago. Like, I got into CrossFit and, like, fell in love with the sport of CrossFit. And, the community is a different story. So I kind of got away from that. And now I'm strictly lifting weights and running. So, but before that, so I started lifting weights and running after CrossFit, started getting into running. Now that's like my bread and butter. That's like where my solitude comes from and clears my mind. I love running. And then for a brief period this year, I'm sure we'll go through all this, but a brief period this year, I did a bodybuilding competition and then back into a marathon prep. So now I'm just strictly weightlifting and running, and I'm training for marathons. And, I'm going to see how far I could take that, these endeavors of running.
Yeah. No, let's get to some bro stuff. Let's do it. Now, because you have the body type of a bodybuilder, but you're a runner, but yes, you're a CrossFitter. Like, what was that change for you going from the little fluff to, was it the honing in on the diet? Was it being mindful in the gym? Was it having the routine? Was it all the above?
Mindful for sure. It was actually, yeah, like, it was a little bit of everything. Mostly I would say my lifestyle habits. So before I started honing in on it was I was, going to sleep very late, waking up late, eating kind of whatever I wanted. Not really when I would eat, I wouldn't, ask myself, like, what is this doing for me? Like, is this going to benefit me or slow me down? I didn't understand that, like, that certain foods can affect your performance. So there was that. No alcohol. I don't really, on occasion, a wedding, birthday, holiday, whatever. I don't really drink anymore. And yeah, just kind of starting to really be consistent. So, like, the whole thing for me is consistency compounds. And if you just go every day, like, you don't have to go. People feel like they have to go and do go to the gym and like give it their all 100% every single day. But my running coach actually says, his quote is, it's better to be consistently good over occasionally great, because you could go to the gym, be great for that one day, but you're so beat down that you got to recover for 4 days. You can't do anything. Or you could go be consistent each day, be good enough, good each day, get what you have to do done, but not burn your whole load, and show up the next day and do it again. And the more you do that, the more it builds up and compounds over time. So that was like really what started to build that up for me, was just staying consistent and fall in love with the process.
Now, what is the what would a day look like as far as being at the gym with you?
All right. So today I'm off from work. So I just actually got back from a 4 mile run.
I saw that. You motherfucker.
So I usually
he just had to do more than me. He just had to do another fucking mile, this kid.
So I usually just wake up. When I have an easy run planned, I'll go straight outside, warm up, go for the run before I have breakfast, come back, have breakfast, my coffee, and then usually head over to the gym, hit whatever lift I'm going to do for that day, come back and, recover after that. Mostly focus on foods that I know are going to help me perform better, and also focus on foods that are going to help me depending on what I have to do the next day. Like tomorrow, I have a long run. So today I might increase carbohydrates a little bit more. I make sure I'm not going to have anything that's going to make me feel any type of way, like sluggish or, not perform at my best. So it's very conscious eating. I'm not like a calorie tracker anymore for the most part. I did it for years. And then I also had to do it for bodybuilding when I was in the competition prep, and it kind of messed with my head. I remember after the competition, I was like still being very particular of how much I ate, and I was weighing stuff, and it was like exhausting mentally. And I was like, I can't do this. And like, I had to learn to intuitively eat and like have a healthy balance of it. And you don't have to weigh every single thing. If you just eat whole, nutritious foods, you'll be all right. So like, that's what I focus on each day. So my days are pretty simple. If I wake up, I run, I go to the gym, and then I just relax. I'm not like nothing extraordinary unless.
No, dude, I love that. Like a typical meal, would that be just the classic? We're gonna do mostly protein.
I know what you're gonna say.
Pick your choice.
You're gonna say chicken and rice.
Oh, I mean, whatever that choice may be. Is it something with protein, chicken, steak, bison, whatever that is, a little bit of veggies, a little bit of carbs? Is that generally it, or do you have a little bit of a different?
In the morning might be more carbohydrates than anything. But through the rest of the day, a protein. I eat a lot of red meat, mostly red meat. I get my protein from, so ground beef, ground bison, bison patties, whatever. Roasted potatoes, I do a lot, or rice, and usually like a cup of fruit. I love fruit. I have tons of fruit all the time, so I usually focus on that too. But it's very, very simple, very basic stuff. I'm not like there's nothing fancy. I don't usually make any. Sometimes I'll try and change it up and do a recipe I found online, but for the most part, just very basic things consistently every day, and it works for me. It doesn't work for everybody. You got to find what works for you. So,
no, dude, that's beautiful. And then what does the gym look like? Are you splitting it out more in the bodybuilder style with body parts, or are you doing push pull, or is it more?
So when I was in peak marathon prep, right before my Buffalo Marathon at the end of May, it was just I did a push day, pull day, leg day. Yeah, because most of my days were running, so I made sure. But when I'm in the gym, I would hammer it hard. I'd usually get one body weight day and like an extra day of something else, just based on my schedule. So I'd figure it out. But for the most part, it was push, pull, legs, and then a body weight day. But now, because I'm kind of in between preps, it's kind of just maintaining my running. I have more time to lift. So I'm doing a push day, a pull day, a leg day, and then which is based on strength. That was a strength focus. And then I have pull hypertrophy day and a push hypertrophy day. So those days are going to be more accessories and like higher repetitions, bodybuilding style. The other days are really for strength. You want to build that size up. And so it's a good mix. But I stay one day of legs. I hammer my legs, but like one day is good as a runner because like when I have speed work and long runs, like those leg days can really hold you back when you're sore. So like one day is good enough for legs as a runner. So
yeah, dude. Wow. Oh my God. You're doing it all, Frank. That's freaking cool.
Yeah. Now, it's a lot.
What would you tell the 18-year-old kid that everybody wants to, whatever kind of physique people look, they generally want to look like how you look, right? You want to be lean, you want to have a little bit of muscle, all that stuff. What is the mistake that you think most people are making today? And I have an idea, but I'll let the professional tell us.
By no means am I a professional, but I have been in that position, and a lot of it is social media and listening to what a lot of these people are saying. And like, I did this, and believing every person on social media is like the key to failure, because like they'll tell you this. And I say it because this was me. Like they'll say this works, do this for 6-pack abs, and this will get you shredded. And like they sell you on these ideas when a lot of them may or may not be natural themselves. And like you set this standard based on what you see online, and like try to aim for it and fall short because it's like unrealistic, because obviously they're not telling you all that they're doing. And you can't do that. You kind of have to do your own real research and learn on your own. Stop like listening to the glorified, what you see on social media for 10 seconds, that highlight clip, because there could be a lot more going on behind the scenes. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. So you're going to wind up setting this high standard that may not be achievable right away. Over time it will, but because what they're saying, if they're saying you can do this in 6 weeks or blah, 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 and then you don't hit it in 6 weeks, you're going to wind up quitting. So I would just set attainable goals for yourself, work towards them every day, do your own research. Don't believe everything you see on social media, unless they're a credible source, because there are tons out there. And, focus, like I said, focus on that goal, work towards it every day. If you want to lose 30 pounds, let's set a goal for 5 pounds, lose 5 pounds in a month or 2 months. You get there. All right, now let's work on the next 5. Like, don't aim for these extreme measures, because I did that. And what would happen is that I wouldn't achieve it, be discouraged. And then I'm like, screw this, it doesn't work. And then you wind up quitting. So it's like, you gotta really educate yourself and learn from the right sources.
Yeah, man. No, and I think that's part of the issue with most goals. Like if you set this gigantic goal 6 months, 3 months out, and you're worrying about the future. But if you set, like, if you want to eat right, let's say I'm going to eat right for the whole summer, I'm going to shred. Why don't we just try to eat right today?
Yeah.
Why don't we just do it today? And then that's what I've been trying to do. And it works much better. And the other issue that at least I see, you can tell me what you think, is what did Frankie just tell us? He said it's compound, it's basic exercise. It would get him to look this way. I don't think if everybody was doing squats, bench, everybody got to do a wacky thing on Instagram. So Instagram, the algorithm feeds into the craziness of somebody got to do a ridiculous thing. And it's like, guys, just stick to the simple things as far as lifting goes, because that's really what gets that and the diet, I think, are the two most important things.
It's not like you just hit it on the head. It's like, it's not sexy. There's nothing crazy about it. Like, I go to the gym, and I have a fitness app that people could subscribe to every month. And each Sunday I post my workouts from this prior week. And if you look at it, for the most part, it's the same things, the same movements. I'll change up a few accessories, or I'll change up the rep schemes on my compound lifts, but like, it's the same stuff, and it could get very monotonous. And if you don't understand that, like if you don't realize that, like doing those same things all the time, that it's just consistency is not always pretty, then you might get discouraged because, like you just said, also you see those things on Instagram and it's like, do this, hit this press and in this angle, and like it doesn't have to be like that. The basic stuff works, but you just gotta know how to apply it. And it really, people don't want to deal with that like monotonous process, but unfortunately that's the only way to achieve any of your goals at all.
Anything. If we're talking, because I got this, people message me about money. It's the same thing. You have to save your money. You're not gonna. Sorry, guy. Whoever, if you listen to this, you're not gonna invest and make $1 billion off of AMC. It doesn't work this way. Save your money consistently. Do your little goals. And like once, I think the other piece, Frank, you tell me if you disagree, is like all of us are probably good at something. Just like you have to take the blueprint of what worked, which is basically what we're talking about. It's these baby steps, consistency, hitting it 80% every day is better than hitting it 150% 2 or 3 times a week. That's what Frank's saying. In any shape or form, whether it be, I have people who email me a lot about, I consider myself I'm the Frankie the Greek of meditation. It's just hitting it every day. I started with 5 minutes when Frank, I was working in a hedge fund with these billionaires. I got myself so sick. I got ulcers. I was just too stressed. It was too much for me. And I went to the doctor. I was like, Doc, give me the drugs. I gotta keep working. He goes, whoa, why don't you relax a second? He's like, maybe this isn't the right thing for you. So I picked up meditating. I was never the kid to ever do that. All of a sudden, I fucking wake up every morning. Now I'm up to an hour and a half. It's like, how did I get there? You just bang it out every day. I was doing 50. I remember I was doing 12 minutes. Then you just add a minute, 13 minutes, 14 minutes. And then every day, use it with reps, use it with money. It's all the same stuff. And I feel like all of this stuff, it's simple, but it's not easy. And that the hard part is when you have a setback or when there's something doesn't go your way. Now, you mimic that to me in my 20s. It was like anytime something got hard, I basically just caved in. How has your relationship with the setback or failure changed, and how do you view failure now?
So I wasted so much talent. Like I said, I boxed my entire childhood growing up until I went to college. My father was my trainer. I had a lot of talent. And because my lack of confidence and, ability to deal with challenges wasn't there, I wasted so much talent. And I could have taken things to football, basketball, boxing. I could have taken those and maybe, done something a little bit better with it. But because of that, it held me back. And now that I got to the point where I'm realizing my mental capabilities, I just want to push myself as far as I possibly can. And I refuse to waste any more talent than I already have. So anything I do, I go all in. So like this past year, I signed up last September for my first half marathon. I did that. Directly into my half marathon, I went into bodybuilding prep for 9 weeks. I did that. That was like a mental challenge. For anyone who's done it or thinking about doing it, basically the weeks go on, your carbs go down, your calories go down, you're hungry, you're tired, you have no energy whatsoever, but you still have to go to the gym and you still have to maintain that intensity that you were doing when you were having more calories and more carbs. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very hard. And every single day you just want to be like, one slice of pizza won't hurt, whatever. I'm not going to the gym today. So it's like a mental battle every day to get through that. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, because I always thought about it when I was younger, because I followed bodybuilding when I started lifting and never pursued it. And I was like, I got to do it. So opportunity arose, did it. Actually wound up winning first place in my class. So that was sick. So then this wasn't the smartest thing, directly from bodybuilding prep, I went into a marathon prep. And that's not smart, because they both are too marathon prep. You need to eat. Bodybuilding prep, you're not eating. So I came off of that completely depleted. My body was all out of whack. And at that point, I only had 9 weeks to train for the marathon. So that's also not smart. A normal marathon training is about 16 weeks. I kind of rushed the training And like while I was building calories back in, because you can't just go back to eating how you normally do, you might blow up. Like I said, your body's all out of whack. So marathon day came. It was in Texas, and the hills and headwinds were insane. There was like 700 feet of elevation gain and loss. So you're going on rolling hills. I had 9 weeks of training, and I just kind of was like, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to make it to the finish line. I really didn't have a goal time because I knew I wasn't in the top shape I could be. I was running. It was 19 miles in. It was hurting. It was brutal for me because I was undertrained, but I thought I was going to make it in a decent time. At 20, I feel my quads start twitching. And anyone who runs or anything, physical fitness wise, when that twitch comes, it's coming for a cramp is on the way. So I feel it twitching. I'm like, all right, like, let me just rub it out. I keep running. Mile 20.5, my leg locks up. I go to take a step. I couldn't bend it. I fall to the ground. I look at my quad and it's like convulsing like this. I'm rolling on the floor. I can't bend my leg. Now, every thought that I've ever had of quitting, like everything I've quit, came back to me in that very moment. Because I was in Texas, the back country roads of Texas, where I fell on the ground. Nobody was around. I think one kid ran past me and was like, yo, I'll go tell the aid station. I'm like, that was like a mile and a half away. I was like, I'm never seeing this kid again. Like, I'm going to just, so in my head at that point, my mind was going back to like, it always wants you to be comfortable. So it was telling me, just stay. That's it. You made it to mile 20. There's 6 miles left. Like you're not going to make it. Wait for someone to come pick you up. And I started like giving into it. I was like, I can't do this. And then I thought back to like my younger self, and it was like thinking about things that I lacked on and I slacked and quit. And I'm like, I got to do this for him. I got to do this for me. I need to show that I won't quit, because if I do, I'm no different than that kid that was quitting 10 years ago, however long ago it was. So I bent my leg, got up, and started, limping. And it just got painful and worse, kept convulsing. The last 6 miles were the hilliest parts.
6 miles.
And then my left one started convulsing and twitching. By the time I got to the finish line, I was straight legging across the finish line. I couldn't bend my legs. And then after I crossed, I had 2 guys carry me over, like have to help me to go sit down somewhere because my legs were completely seized up. And although I was pissed off that happened, you kind of had to expect it because of my lack of training and, the experience I had with it. So I tried to look at it from a positive. I tried to look at it from a positive view, but like I couldn't, because I was very angry about with myself. But in reality, I didn't quit. I immediately signed up for a marathon after that, which was Buffalo, New York, 4 months later, which was May 29th, this past May, and wound up training the right way with a great coach. And I had a 42-minute PR, and I finished 3 hours, 37 minutes. So like, that's what those setbacks and failures have gotten me. You got to look at it sometimes as a lesson. In the time when you're in it, you might not see it that way, which I didn't, but like that actually helped me. Seizing up at in Texas was a lesson. I learned what I did wrong, where I learned what I'm capable of. I'm capable of running 700 feet of elevation, limping actually with stiff legs that I can't bend them, and finishing it, even though I wanted to quit every second of the way. I was in the darkest place I think I've been ever, because it was just so painful and brutal, and the time was just going so slow, and I didn't quit. And that builds confidence for you. And then going into this next marathon that I just did, I've been there before. Like I knew what I had to do. I knew what those miles felt like. I knew the in my training, like how it should feel, which helped me on marathon day. And I came out, 42 minutes faster than I was the first time. First time I finished 4 hours and 19 minutes or something around that. Second one, 3:37. So yeah, those failures that I've had, they all led me to where I am. So although I look back at a lot and I'm like, I wish I didn't quit. I wish I didn't fail at that. It all had a reason. It all had a purpose.
Dude, you have to go through that stuff. And I think in the moment, it's almost impossible to tell if something that's happened to you is good or bad, just because the complexity of the world and the future of your life. Like, I literally thought when I was getting divorced, this is the worst thing ever. She's taking everything, blah, blah, blah. I've never been happier in my life. Never made more money. All these things that you can't connect. You don't know why. It's just supposed to happen. And that same thing of this wasted talent. I had that same thing. But I think if you didn't, let's say you didn't waste the talent and maybe you boxed a little bit, I don't think you would have been as hungry as you are today. So all of that's not even a waste, because it's literally you need that to get to that next plateau. Because I think people look at it like life's up and down. It is up and down in a way, but you're kind of like circling around what works. Okay, I'm trying to circle. Oh, this doesn't work. Let me pull back. And you're just kind of going in and out of things. And when you find the right thing, then I'm fucking hitting it, and you're hitting it hard, bro. That's fucking that was a powerful story. Are you gonna try to do like a Moab and like this crazy super Cameron Haynes long distance stuff?
I don't know about a Moab, but I never say never. Right now, my next goal is the New York City Marathon. We're aiming for like 3 hours, 20 minutes. And then after that, I would like a sub-3 marathon. And then we'll take it from there. I'm debating on the ultras world, or people are telling me do triathlons. We'll see when I get there. I don't like to think too far ahead, because like you get overwhelmed and like you set too many goals for yourself right away. You spread yourself too thin. So what's in front of me right now is New York City and my goal for that. And I'll get past that and we'll move on to the next one. But yeah, ultra marathons are definitely on my radar.
I could tell because you're hungry, man. Now, as far as it's the goal setting, it sounds like you have this overarching goal to, obviously you want to help people, inspire people, all that stuff. But this other, let's say you went from bodybuilding, that was more of a 3-month goal, and then you switched to another 3-month goal. Are you constantly setting these kind of 90-day goals? And is that what's keeping you sharp?
Not 90-day, no like timeline in particular. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of always looking for that next thing that could challenge me more. And I guess it's for me, it's, I'm hungry for it. I went so long, like just being complacent and wasting time and talent. And I don't want to do it anymore. So now it's like, all right, I'm in like my prime shape, and I am constantly pushing myself to see how far I could go. I also look at it like this. If I'm constantly applying microdosing adversity into my life by doing this stuff, like each day I'm going out, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and I'm running when maybe I want to just sleep. That's microdosing adversity. You're facing things that you might not want to in the moment. This all helps in a real life scenario, because now you're kind of training your brain as like a muscle. It's been there. It knows what it's like to do these hard things because you do it every single day. So now when you face something in the real world and it's like tough, it's like it may still be tough, but you've been there before. You've done those reps. You've ran those miles. You felt adversity. So like I do it a lot too, because it helps me in the real world aspect, if that makes any sense at all.
Dude, I'm not only does it make sense, I'm stealing that for the rest of my life. Microdosing adversity, bro. That's because I feel like, at least with everybody's black and white, right? And sometimes you just end up doing too much. It's like you have to, because even with the gym, right? Doing your thing, and it could get a little, we're talking about reps, talking about consistency. With consistency comes a little bit of boredom. So just by throwing in that dash of adversity, like if you had to break down your day, how much of that percentage would you suggest people drop that adversity? 10%, 5%, 15%? Maybe it's just variable because everybody's different.
I would say like maybe 10% of my day, 15%. But I like to do it first thing in the day, like first thing in the morning. First thing I do when I wake up is microdose that adversity, because if you do the hardest thing first and get past it, the rest of the day is easy,
Dude, I'm the same way. I'm waking up. I'm like, because if you can't, my whole thing is I got to get my mind right. And if I
Yeah.
wake up, sit down with my thoughts for about an hour and a half, just I'm in charge. Everything else just seems to be a little easier, let's say.
Yes, exactly.
Dude,
Yep.
Frankie, thank you so much for coming on, bro. This was a great conversation, bro. Seriously, I appreciate your time and just keep
Yeah,
doing
for
what
sure.
you're doing, man.
Thank you so much, bro.
Of
Appreciate you
course,
having
dude.
me.
Everybody watching on YouTube, please follow Frankie. We're gonna get all the information below. You can find the supplements, you can find his Instagram, everything. Leave a like, review, subscribe if you're watching, if you're listening. Thank you guys so much for all the support and all that good jazz. As always, stay safe, stay positive, stay blessed. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.